All right, so I wanted to do a quick demo on how to rip movies and get them into your media server. Now, I'm primarily thinking of Jellyfin because that's what I use, but I would imagine it's very similar for Plex. The software that we use is called MakeMKV. Notice that it says beta, so they say that it's free as long as it's in beta. Been in beta for probably more than a decade at this point. So who knows if it will always be free, but basically the way it works is you download the software, you go to their website, and they'll give you a license key that is good for a few months. And after a few months, it'll expire, and then you'll have to re-download the software and get a new key. And you can just keep doing that for years if you want. Or in my case, I just purchased a lifetime license. I don't have to worry about that. So once you start it up, this is what it looks like. And I have my different drives here. The one that's selected right now is the DVD drive that's in my computer. I'm going to insert a disc. And right now it's just trying to determine what kind of disc this is. Is it a DVD, Blu-ray, CD? So notice it's a DVD, and we can go ahead and open it by just clicking that. And now it's trying to read it. It's reading the contents of the disc. On average, this takes about 20 to 30 seconds. Occasionally, it'll take a little bit longer. In some rare cases, it could take, several minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. That's very rare, but can happen. Blu-rays are much faster than DVDs. Very rare to have issues with Blu-rays not opening. It's more common with DVDs. All right, so it's almost done here. And you'll notice that there are several checkboxes here. These are different files that were found on the disk. So here's one file that's 4.4 gigabytes. And this one is 185, 66, and 78 megabytes. So these files are much smaller than this one because this one is the feature film. And the rest of these are probably other things like the intros, or it could be a trailer, it could be some extra feature. But usually these are not necessary. You probably don't want these. And so I will just unselect all of those and then just leave the one that I want checked. And then I will usually uncheck the non-English languages and subtitles. So for audio and subtitles, I'll uncheck Spanish and French. And that's pretty much it. Now, this site here, TMDB, the movie database, this is used by Jellyfin to look up all the information about a movie, about the cast and the crew and the description of the movie, the rating, the runtime, all of that information. It's kind of the database that the server uses. And the way it determines what what the name of the movie is that it's trying to look up is based on the folder name. And so you want the folder name to match what's on this website. So in this case, the movie that I'm trying to rip here is called Race to Witch Mountain. And this is the correct one right here. So I'll find it and I just copy this entire thing. And then I come back here. And I have my movies folder selected by default, and I'm just going to add a / and then paste that movie name with the release year in there. Kind of wondering what that looks like. This is my movie folder, and notice every movie has a folder for each movie. But this is all there is to it. You're just going to check the file that you want, paste the name of the movie and the release year in here, and this button will start the process. And that's it. So it says that folder doesn't exist. Do you want to create it? You say yes, so it creates that folder. And now that file this file b1 underscore t00.mkv is going to be saved into this folder. If I open that up, you'll see that right here, and you can see that it's creating that file here. So it's currently ripping that. It's going to take probably about 20 minutes or so, and then that's it. You're done. As soon as this finishes, it's going to have a little box pop up and say, you know, finished or done. Just click OK. You can eject the disk using this button, and then you just repeat the process. That's it. So it's pretty simple. One thing that I will mention is sometimes you will insert some movies in here, and there might be 2 or 3, or might be, you know, 5 or 10 movies that are about the same file size, and you don't know which one is the actual movie. They're all going to be very similar, and then lots of small files. So like with Blu-rays, you might have 4 or 5 files that are like 26 gigabytes. And you have to figure out which one of those is the correct one. There's a couple things that you can do. Sometimes, if it's a certain type of disk, if you have Java installed, this software can try to figure out what that file is for you, and it will label it for you. The other thing you can do is try looking at the runtime. So in that view that I was showing you a minute ago, if you select the file itself on the right pane over here, it's going to show you the runtime. And you can try looking to see if one of those files matches the advertised runtime of the movie. And sometimes you'll see a couple minutes difference between them, where some of the other files are like 10 minutes shorter than what the advertised time is. So that's one other way that you can try to figure out which one's the correct one. Sometimes you can open these up in VLC player, and you'll get the whole DVD menu just like you would with the DVD player. You can start the movie, and then you can see which one of those files it's choosing. And so that's also another option. So that becomes a little bit tricky. That seems to happen, I would say, about 1 out of every 15 or 20 discs. It seems it's not like uncommon, but it's not every disc for sure. But yeah, it's really not that difficult. It just takes some time. I found that it takes about 20 minutes for DVDs, about 35 to 40 minutes for Blu-rays, and the 4K Blu-rays, the 4K UHD discs, they seem to take about an hour or so, about 50 minutes to like an hour and 10. It just kind of depends on the size of the file. I can run 3 instances of this with my 3 drives and rip 3 movies at the same time, and I usually don't have any issues with that. So that's it.